The last apology she ever gave him. If your life feels like a constant apology, this is your wake-up call. You were never too much. You were always enough. Stay for the end because your final apology is your fiercest declaration of freedom. She apologized for everything, for speaking up, for feeling hurt, for needing love, for reacting like a human being. But that night, when he rolled his eyes and said, "You're too emotional," she felt something inside her shift. Suddenly, she wasn't sorry anymore. She didn't want to shrink. She didn't want to swallow her pain. She wanted her life back, so she gave him one last apology. "I'm sorry for staying this long." That wasn't an apology. It was an eviction notice. Meet Hannah. Her life with Alex was a series of subtle negotiations where she always paid the highest price, her truth. Alex was a master of emotional deflection. When she expressed a need, he called it a demand. When she cried, he called it drama. Hannah, desperately craving harmony and Alex's approval, became a professional apologist. She apologized for the tear tracks on her cheeks. She apologized for the tone of her voice. She apologized for questioning his late nights. She apologized for the simple fact of needing him. She protected him from the slightest inconvenience of her complex human emotions. She had internalized the belief that if she could just be quieter, smaller, and more reasonable by his standards, he would finally see her and love her fully. This self-erasure was her strategy for survival. Her friends saw a woman perpetually on edge, always prefacing her feelings with, "I know I shouldn't be like this," but her self-worth was directly linked to the absence of conflict, and she achieved that peace by erasing herself. She was an emotional phantom in her own home. It happened on a cold Friday night. Hannah had just shared a vulnerability, a long-held fear about her job security. It was a moment of true emotional nakedness, a risk she rarely took. Alex didn't offer comfort. He didn't offer a solution. He simply looked at her, sighed dramatically, and let his eyes roll up towards the ceiling. "You're too emotional, Hannah," he said, using the words as a dismissive shield. "I can't deal with this right now." "You turn everything into a crisis." The words weren't new. The dismissive tone was routine. But that night, something snapped. It wasn't anger. It was a profound, chilling clarity. She looked at him, the man she'd apologized to for years, and suddenly, the apology felt heavier on her soul than it did on his. She realized that every time she apologized for being hurt, she was giving him permission to hurt her again. Every time she apologized for her feelings, she was validating his right to invalidate her existence. She didn't want to shrink. She didn't want to swallow her pain. She didn't want to apologize for needing love, connection, and empathy. She wanted her life back, the one where she wasn't constantly on trial for being human. The need to protect herself finally outweighed the need to protect his ego. She stood up, and for the first time in years, she felt her spine straighten. She looked Alex directly in the eye, and the silence was deep. He waited for the customary apology, the promise to do better, the tearful request for reassurance. Instead, she gave him the ultimate truth, packaged as a final goodbye. "I'm sorry for staying this long." That was it. The last apology she would ever give him. It wasn't an admission of fault. It was an eviction notice from her life. It was a declaration that she was no longer accepting the role of the guilty party. She walked away and began the process of claiming her role as the defender of self-worth. She left the next morning, taking only what she needed and leaving behind the emotional debris of constant self-editing. She didn't argue. She didn't debate. She simply chose herself. The single woman's path of recovery begins here, where she stops arguing her worth and starts asserting it. If you've been living in an emotional deficit, constantly apologizing for your core needs, this is your breaking point. Stop begging for validation you already possess. Your feelings are not flaws. They are your compass. The defender of self-worth does not argue. She establishes law. What is the one non-negotiable standard you must establish today to protect your peace? Hannah's journey as a single woman was initially marked by silence and tentative steps. The hardest part wasn't the logistics of moving. It was the internal detox from his voice. Every time she felt sad or angry, the gaslighting echo whispered, "See? You are too emotional." The defender of self-worth fought back, creating new rituals of self-validation. She started a journal, dedicating the first page to a simple oath. "My feelings are valid. I do not owe anyone an apology for being human." New Conquest 1, the right to feel, reclaiming data. She sought a therapist who taught her to name her feelings without judgment. She achieved the conquest of authentic expression, allowing herself to be sad, angry, or overwhelmingly happy without fear of external rebuke. She learned that emotional intensity is simply data that tells her what she needs, not a defect that needs suppressing. New Conquest 2, the end of people-pleasing, the power of no. She started saying no to small requests that compromised her time and energy. A request to work late, a friend's demand for unreciprocated support. Each rejection was a muscle-building moment. This seemingly small conquest rebuilt her self-trust, showing her that setting boundaries did not lead to abandonment, but to respect and peace. Her time as a single woman became dedicated to filling her own cup, not constantly emptying it for others. The single life is sanctuary. Hannah deliberately crafted her single life as a sanctuary against invalidation. She decorated her apartment with items that celebrated her tastes, not Alex's. She curated her friendships, prioritizing those who listened with empathy, not those who offered quick judgment or unsolicited advice. The space became a laboratory for self-discovery, where she could experiment with being her full, unapologetic self. Conquest of authentic partnership, the unbreakable standard. When she finally re-entered the dating world as a single woman, her standard was not a list of superficial traits, but a deeply rooted emotional boundary. She would not engage with anyone who tried to manage or minimize her emotional reality. She learned to spot the subtle signs of emotional deflection immediately. She recognized that any partner who demands she shrink herself is not a partner but a warden. She attracted men who met her with curiosity and empathy, not control and dismissal, because her own high self-regard acted as a filter. The deepest achievement of the defender of self-worth is the realization that she does not owe anyone an apology for being fully, wonderfully human. Her emotional depth is her greatest strength, not her greatest weakness. Her new life was built on a simple, revolutionary truth. I am enough exactly as I am, and I will not apologize for my existence again. She transformed her most painful apology into her most powerful assertion of worth. Your strength is not in how much you can endure, but in how quickly you choose to stop enduring disrespect. The defender of self-worth demands that you live without apology. What is the one truth about your worth you will never let anyone minimize again? Choose your strength now.